If you are sensitive to discussions around spiritual deception, grief, or demonic influence, please proceed prayerfully.
So look, it says here the lady was walking in the store shopping. This woman, when this man began a psychic ritual on her, this man, he waited for her familiar spirits to give to him. It's all clear. Look at that. You seen that? He shot a fiery dart at her to confuse her. What? What does God give us in Ephesians 6:10-18? The shoes of peace, the gospels of peace. Look. Wow.
I've experienced things in grocery stores myself where I had to pray. I always watch my surroundings in every store I go in because a lot of strange things have happened to me.
Lady froze in her post. She immediately felt dizzy. Look, he tried to bind her and knew something was wrong. What? He tried to stalk her through several aisles so she can lower her defense to give him access. Wow, to her spirit. That is crazy, bro. This is real spiritual warfare. They work with voodoo and everything. She got dehydrated, but her sister was with her. Witchcraft. This is definitely witchcraft, bro. This is why we need to put the full armor of God. The child was just a distraction. Ephesians 6 now puts on the full armor of God. There is a war in the unseen realm we can't see. Wow, the lady is okay. God bless her. Like and share this.
Wow, family. This just tells us that we must be aware of our surroundings. There are people who use hand gestures as a part of occult rituals, especially when done discreetly behind a person's back. It could be like a hex or symbolic gestures to cast negative energy onto us. They could be attempting to spiritually tag or bind someone. We must be vigilant and aware of our surroundings. I'm very sensitive when I'm out and about, especially, in stores where crowds are, etc. Because these things that people do, like this man did to her, is symbolic acts done in public spaces as part of dark assignments. This is what you need to understand. People involved in dark practices often do things in plain sight, hoping the average person won't notice or even understand.
Witchcraft is not a secret anymore.
As children of the Most High, walking in covenant and covered by the blood of Yahusha, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. The enemy may try to watch, follow, intimidate, or even curse, but Yah allows nothing to touch us unless he permits it for his purpose. Even then, it's to strengthen, teach, or expose something, not to destroy. Psalms 34:7 says, "The angel of Yahuwah encamp around about them that fear him and deliver them." That means you'll never be alone, even when you're being watched, whether in a store, at home, or on the road. Yah is watching over you closer than any enemy ever could. The Holy Spirit, or his Ruach, gives discernment. His word is your sword, and his presence is your shield. Spirits move through touch, presence, conversation, even emotions. Just like in the movie Fallen, a demonic spirit can jump from person to person if you're not spiritually covered.
Stay aware and stay prayed up at all times.
So I try to make it a point to cover myself daily, because you never know who you're going to encounter on a day-to-day basis. This is why you can't let just anyone lay hands on you, be in your space, or connect with your spirit. And notice how this movie, Fallen, with Denzel Washington in it, is specifically about the fallen angel Azazel jumping from person to person. This has been happening since the days of Enoch. They were cast out of heaven and came down with forbidden knowledge, teaching mankind witchcraft, sorcery, weaponry, astrology, and spiritual manipulation. That same dark knowledge is still being used today, just repackaged as spirituality, energy work, or self-discovery. These fallen ones now operate through spirits, unclean, monitoring, seductive, or tormenting spirits. And these spirits look for bodies to influence, control, and destroy. That's why spirit transfer is real. A demon doesn't need to knock on your door. It enters through touch, conversation, sexual sin,
Abstinence is real power.
music, or even trauma. This is why Yah tells us to stay set apart. You're either filled with the Spirit or open to something else. Many of you may not know this, but when the enemy tries to distract you from prayer and serving Yahuwah, it's a sign that your connection is powerful and dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Distractions, whether through noise, sudden thoughts, fatigue, or even people, are not random. They're strategic spiritual interference because the enemy knows that, as per James 5:16, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avail much. Prayer is our weapon, our lifeline, and our place of alignment with Yah. So push through, even when it's hard. The moment you decide to truly pray, heaven listens and hell trembles. That's why the distractions come. But Yah gives you power to overcome every tactic of the enemy. Matthew 26:41 says, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation."
Spiritual warfare is 100% real. I used to think it was bullshit. Now, heck now. The second I got right spiritually, I started to see real quick that there's stuff out there trying to drag you. This is people who trying to drain you of your energy.
Yeah, have you ever noticed that when you're at peace, it aggravates people? Especially those who are still at war within themselves. When you walk in the calm and confidence that comes from Yahuwah, that peace that surpasses all understanding, it disrupts the atmosphere around those who are bound by chaos, bitterness, guilt, or unhealed trauma. They probably don't even understand why they feel so irritated around you, but it's not really you they're upset with. It's the spiritual presence, the stillness, the clarity you carry, and what it exposes in them. And since a lot of people don't really understand true spiritual peace, or when they feel convicted by your healing, they say things like, "You're just hiding behind Yah. You're avoiding the real issue. You haven't really dealt with it. You're just using religion." But the truth is, they mistake your silence for avoidance and your healing for denial because they haven't experienced that kind of peace that Yah gives you. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of Yah, which pass all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Messiah Yahusha."
Just do not have any more space in my life for things that I have to question. I don't have any more space to question people's intentions, to question people's motives. I have now gotten to the place in my life where it is just this simple. How you show up is how you feel. And I'm going to use the language that you show me through your actions to determine exactly what you are, who you are, and how you feel about me.
Yes, some people are sent to you to cause problems. They look like friends, family, supporters, love interests, but they're being used, willingly or unknowingly, by the enemy to distract, derail, or destroy your peace because you're walking with the Most High.
Who we have in our lives is very important. We have to get the wrong people out.
And we have to be careful because sometimes we'll spend years trying to fix, prove, or please people who were never assigned to our destiny.
So if your destiny is going to be fulfilled, they can't go with you.
We must guard our hearts with all diligence. Some people don't even like your peace. They don't like your healing. They don't like your growth. They don't like your obedience to Yahuwah. But that's not our problem. That's not our burden to carry. Their opinions don't override our calling. Their chaos doesn't cancel our purpose. And their rejection is not our reflection. Meaning, just because someone rejects you doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Their rejection says more about them, their wounds, their inability to recognize your value, or their discomfort with your light, not about your worth, identity, or purpose in Yah. When people reject your transformation, that's on them. If they walk away when you choose peace, that's their discomfort with light. If they accuse you of changing or hiding behind Yah, that's their conviction, not our condemnation. Even Yahusha was rejected, not because he lacked value, but because the world couldn't handle who he really was. Be vigilant and cautious about who you allow in your home. Not every guest is harmless. Be vigilant about what you say when you're angry. Words spoken in emotion can be used against you. Be vigilant about where you go and who you spend time with. Not every invitation is divine. Be mindful about how you share your goals. Premature exposure invites spiritual attacks. And also be vigilant about how you respond to offense. Some people are bait, sent to break your peace. This walk is spiritual, not casual. And we're in a time where you need to exercise discernment for survival.
Stay aware, family, and protect your peace.